As a family doctor, I was a master at diagnosing problems and assigning the appropriate prescription medication to the problem. The problem is that those prescription medications used long term can have some very negative consequences. They do work. They make the lab numbers look better and they can really address the symptoms. And sometimes they are very, very needed. But it's really important to know to look out for potential complications of taking these medications long term. The problem is oftentimes the symptoms don't develop right away. It's kind of a slow fade, so we don't necessarily relate the symptom to the prescription medication. And oftentimes the symptoms are very vague and could be related to a lot of different things. So, what are the symptoms that you could have that could be coming from a micronutrient deficiency from a prescription medication? Well, fatigue, weakness, poor sleep, changes in your appetite, dry, brittle hair and nails, hair loss, poor digestion, which could have symptoms of diarrhea, constipation, bloating, numbness or tingling in your fingers or toes, or irritability, moodiness, brain fog. All of these symptoms could be related to a micronutrient deficiency. So, which drugs deplete nutrients? Well, a whole bunch of them can. I mean, really, the list is very, very long, but let me talk about some of the top ones. The first one that comes to my mind is antacids. So, proton pump inhibitors, H2 blockers, and things like Tums, things like this. Stomach acid is necessary. We need stomach acid to break our food down into the small component parts to absorb the nutrients to fuel our body. What is not good is when that stomach acid is in our esophagus. That causes heartburn. It's very uncomfortable and it's not something that you should just ignore and live with. But if the approach that we often take to having heartburn or too much acid in our esophagus is we just block the acid production altogether, which is definitely not what we want to do long term. If you have heartburn and you need to rely on one of those medications regularly, it is critical to get to the root cause of what's causing it and fix it so that you don't need to take that medication all the time because you are not going to break down your food properly with the long-term use of that medication, and it will over time lead to micronutrient deficiency. Another big one, but thankfully this one is usually just short term, is antibiotics. Antibiotics disrupt the good gut bacteria, and those are very important for helping to process different nutrients. And so you really want to have the good gut bacteria working for you, and taking antibiotics can eliminate them. So it's really important to replenish them with a probiotic after antibiotic use. Blood pressure medicines are also a biggie. They can deplete CoQ10, potassium, and magnesium, and zinc, all from flushing out too many nutrients from the blood pressure medication. And then I think the other one that is really, really common is cholesterol lowering medications, especially statins. Statins lower cholesterol beautifully, but they are also known to deplenish your CoQ10 supply, and CoQ10 is critical for energy production. So, what can you do to prevent a nutrient deficiency? Well, eating a whole food diet is a great place to start. Always, always, always start with food. The more whole, real food that we're eating, the better our chances are. I think it's also important to address gut health because eating the right food is not enough. We have to break that food down properly, and then we have to absorb it through a healthy gut wall. And if our gut is inflamed or we're lacking the appropriate amounts of digestive enzymes, that's not going to happen. And so having a healthy gut is key. And then I like to supplement. Do I trust myself to get all the nutrients that I need in my diet? I don't. I do the best that I can, but I am far from perfect. And so taking a handful of supplements each day serves as an insurance policy for me to make sure that I'm getting the nutrients that I need. And then I think lastly, it's just addressing the root cause. Prescription medications can be great in the appropriate circumstance, but I'm always asking the question as to why. Why do we need this medication? What is the underlying root cause? Can it be identified and can it be fixed? Oftentimes the answer to that question is yes, and then your need for the prescription medicine lifelong is no longer necessary, and then you don't have to worry about preventing the micronutrient deficiencies because you're no longer on the medication. which is absolutely amazing when it works that way.